The White House has confirmed that the new the 100,000 fee for H-1B visa applicants, which takes effect on Sunday.
Imagine waking up to the news that the cost of applying for an H-1B visa in the United States is no longer a few $1,000s in paperwork, but a staggering $100,000 just to throw your name in the ring. That's not a rumor. That's not speculation. That's the brand new reality introduced by Donald Trump in September 2025. A move so drastic, so game-changing, that it's already rattling Silicon Valley, confusing global corporations, and sparking outrage in New Delhi and beyond. To understand why this is such a bombshell, we need to rewind. For decades, the H-1B visa has been the golden ticket for skilled professionals around the world. Engineers from Bangalore, developers from Beijing, researchers from London, scientists from Sao Paulo, they've all come to America chasing opportunity, and the H-1B was the bridge that made it possible. Companies like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, even healthcare giants and universities have leaned on this program to bring in people who, frankly, keep the machine running. Roughly 3/4 of all H-1B recipients in recent years have been from India. For many families, it wasn't just a job. It was the beginning of a new life, a chance to settle, to thrive, to build the so-called American dream. But here's the twist. From the moment it was created, the H-1B has been controversial. Critics argue that it allows corporations to undercut American workers, to replace citizens with cheaper foreign labor. There have been high-profile cases where U.S. employees were laid off, only to be asked to train their H-1B replacements before leaving. To Trump and his base, that's more than a loophole. It's betrayal. And if you've followed Trump's rhetoric since 2016, you know immigration, legal or illegal, has always been central to his pitch. America first. Protect our borders. Protect our jobs. So what exactly has changed now? On September 19th, Trump signed a presidential proclamation with an almost clinical title: Restriction on Entry of Certain Non-Immigrant Workers. But buried inside is a hammer blow. As of September 21st, 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time, any company wanting to bring a worker from abroad on an H-1B visa must pay a one-time fee of $100,000 before even filing the petition. That's not negotiable. That's not spread out. It's upfront, in full, and without it, your worker doesn't get in. To put that into perspective, the average filing costs for H-1B before this change hovered between $5,000 and $10,000, depending on legal help and premium processing. Overnight, that's been multiplied by 10, sometimes 20. For a Fortune 500 company with deep pockets, maybe it's annoying but manageable. For a startup hoping to hire its first machine learning engineer from overseas, it's devastating. The message is clear. If you can't afford it, don't bother. Now Trump's team insists this isn't about shutting the door completely. The official line is that the new fee is a filter designed to stop abuse of the system. They argue that if a company truly values a foreign worker, if the skill is truly essential, then $100,000 is a fair price of admission. And there are exceptions. The Secretary of Homeland Security has the power to waive the fee if the worker is deemed critical to U.S. national interests. So, a biotech researcher working on cancer cures may be exempt. An AI engineer building defense technology? Probably exempt. But a 25-year-old coder hired for routine software maintenance? That door just slammed shut, and growing frustration among American graduates who feel locked out of opportunities. Trump's narrative frames this move as protection. Why let cheap foreign labor flood the market when Americans are struggling to find jobs? But here's the counterpoint. Study after study has shown that H-1B workers don't just fill jobs, they create them. They launch startups, file patents, generate entire ecosystems of economic growth. In fact, some of America's most iconic companies, think Tesla, Intel, Google, were built by immigrants or the the children of immigrants. Economists warn that shutting off this talent pipeline could cost the US far more than it saves. Already, the ripple effects are obvious. Indian IT companies, which rely heavily on H-1B visas to station their workers in the US, are panicking. Industry leaders in Bangalore are warning that projects will stall, families will be separated, and young professionals who dreamed of Silicon Valley will now look to Toronto, London, or Sydney instead. The Indian government itself has called the policy deeply concerning. Because remember, this isn't just about money, it's about people. Workers who were preparing to move are suddenly stuck. Spouses and children who were planning to relocate face uncertainty. Some may even risk overstaying or scrambling for alternative visas. Inside the US, the picture is equally messy. Tech companies are split. Big players like Amazon and Google have the cash to pay, but even they know it's a dangerous precedent. If one fee can suddenly jump to 100,000, what comes next? For smaller firms and startups, the lifeblood of American innovation, the fee is a death sentence. They can't compete in the talent market if their rivals can absorb costs that they can't. Some may decide to stop hiring foreign talent altogether. Others may shift operations overseas. Either way, America risks losing its edge as the world's talent magnet. And then there's the legal battlefield. Immigration law in the US is notoriously complex, and many legal scholars argue that imposing such a massive fee through a presidential proclamation stretches the limits of executive power. Expect lawsuits, business coalitions, immigrant advocacy groups, and possibly even state governments will challenge this in court, arguing it's unconstitutional or violates existing immigration statutes. If history is any guide, the fight could drag on for months, maybe years, leaving thousands of workers and employers in limbo. But beyond the courtrooms and boardrooms lies a deeper question. What kind of country does America want to be? For decades, the US has branded itself as the land of opportunity, the place where the world's best and brightest come to push boundaries, innovate, and chase dreams. The H-1B visa, imperfect as it was, embodied that promise. Now, with a single stroke of Trump's pen, that promise looks more like a gated community with a $100,000 entry fee. For some Americans, that's a victory, proof that their jobs, their wages, their futures are being prioritized. For others, it's short-sighted, a policy that may protect the present but undermine the future. Because here's the irony. While the US debates how to wall off talent, countries like Canada are rolling out the red carpet. Canada recently introduced a new program that lets H-1B visa holders from the US switch northward with minimal red tape. Within days of its launch, applications maxed out. That tells you something. The hunger for opportunity hasn't died. It's just finding new borders. So where does this leave us? If you're an aspiring immigrant, the message is bleak. Unless your skills are considered national interest, the door has all but closed. If you're an employer, you're being forced to make a calculation. Is this worker worth 100 grand before they even set foot in the US? If you're a policymaker, you're bracing for the fallout. Economic, diplomatic, even cultural. Because let's not forget, immigration isn't just labor policy. It shapes America's identity. Right now, the clock is ticking. Families are rushing to get back to the US before the new rules lock in. Attorneys are swamped with calls. Governments abroad are scrambling for answers. And in Washington, the debate over immigration just got a whole lot hotter. This isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of a battle that will play out in courts, in Congress, in boardrooms, and at dinner tables across the country. $100,000. That's the new price tag on the American dream. For some, a price they'll pay. For many, a price too steep to even consider. Whether this makes America stronger or weaker, only time will tell. But one thing is certain: the future of US immigration, of global talent flows, and of the H-1B visa itself just changed forever.